In the mid-1990s, 5 young women from Britain became one of the most recognizable pop acts on the planet. They were Mel B, Melanie C, Emma Bunton, Geri Halliwell, and Victoria Beckham, better known as Scary, Sporty, Baby, Ginger, and Posh Spice. Together, they were the Spice Girls. Their songs were loud, catchy, and instantly memorable, but their success was about more than music. They sold more than 100 million records worldwide, became the best-selling girl group of all time, and helped define an entire decade of pop culture. Their message was simple enough to fit on a t-shirt, girl power. But behind that slogan was a carefully timed cultural explosion that mixed teen pop, British identity, fashion, celebrity branding, and female friendship into something the music industry had never quite seen before. The Spice Girls were formed in 1994, at a time when British pop was dominated by boy bands and guitar groups. Heart Management wanted to create a girl group that could compete in that market, so auditions were held to find performers with personality, vocal ability, and stage presence. What emerged was not a polished, identical group in matching outfits, but 5 women with sharply different identities. That contrast became one of their greatest strengths. Each member felt distinct. Mel B was bold and energetic, Melanie C was athletic and vocally powerful, Emma Bunton was sweet and youthful, Geri Halliwell was theatrical and outspoken, and Victoria Beckham was stylish and controlled. The group eventually left Heart Management, hired Simon Fuller as their manager, and signed with Virgin Records, moves that positioned them for a much bigger launch. Their breakthrough came in 1996 with Wannabe, a debut single that sounded like nothing else on mainstream radio. It was chaotic, playful, and built around friendship rather than romance. The famous opening piano riff, rapid vocal handoffs, and shouted energy made it instantly recognizable. More importantly, the lyrics put female friendship first, telling listeners that anyone who wanted a relationship had to respect the group bond. That idea connected strongly with young fans, especially girls who rarely saw pop stars speaking so directly to them. Wannabe reached #1 in 37 countries, turning the Spice Girls from a new British act into a global phenomenon almost overnight. It was not just a hit song, it was the opening statement of a brand new pop movement. The success of Wannabe was followed by their debut album, Spice, released in 1996. The album sold more than 23 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling album by a female group in history. Its power came from variety. Say You'll Be There mixed pop with R&B attitude, Two Become One showed a softer ballad side, and Mama offered a sentimental message aimed at family and growing up. The songs were accessible, but they were also carefully shaped around the group's identity. Each member contributed vocals and songwriting, reinforcing the idea that this was a team rather than a lead singer with backing performers. The album made the Spice Girls feel like a complete world, music, fashion, slogans, personalities, and attitude all working together. A major reason the Spice Girls became so influential was the way they redefined the modern girl group. Earlier pop groups often relied on harmony, elegance, or romantic storytelling. The Spice Girls brought something louder and more direct. Their slogan, Girl Power, was not academic feminism, but it was highly effective pop feminism for a young audience. It encouraged confidence, independence, friendship, and self-expression. For millions of young fans, that mattered. The Spice Girls made it seem acceptable to be funny, messy, fashionable, sporty, loud, shy, ambitious, or dramatic, and still belong. Their different personas gave fans multiple ways to identify with the group. You did not just listen to the Spice Girls, you picked which Spice Girl you related to most. Their rise also fit perfectly into the cool Britannia era, when British music, fashion, film, and celebrity culture were receiving international attention. The United Kingdom was being marketed as youthful, stylish, and culturally exciting, and the Spice Girls became one of its most exportable symbols. Geri Halliwell's Union Jack dress, worn at the 1997 Brit Awards, became one of the most famous outfits in pop history because it turned a national symbol into a bold fashion statement. The group was colorful, media-friendly, and impossible to ignore. They gave interviews full of jokes and attitude, posed for endless magazine covers, and became fixtures of television and tabloids. Their fame showed how pop music was becoming inseparable from image, personality, and constant media presence. In 1997, the Spice Girls released their second album, Spice World, and expanded their empire even further. The album sold more than 14 million copies worldwide and produced major #1 singles including Spice Up Your Life, Too Much, and Viva Forever. Like their debut, it mixed upbeat dance pop with ballads and global pop influences. But by this point, the group was no longer just releasing music, they were building a multimedia franchise. They made their live concert debut and released the feature film Spice World, a deliberately exaggerated comedy that captured their public image, chaotic, self-aware, glamorous, and absurd. Critics were not always kind, but fans responded. The film and album helped turn the Spice Girls into characters as much as musicians. The Spice Girls were also pioneers in turning pop stardom into mass-market branding. Their nicknames, originally popularized by the British press, became essential to their appeal. Scary, sporty, baby, ginger, and posh were easy to remember and easy to sell. This made the group unusually marketable, especially to children and teenagers. Merchandise and endorsement deals exploded, with products ranging from dolls and magazines to candy, clothing, and advertising campaigns. By May 1998, their endorsements and merchandise had generated an estimated $500 to $800 million in income. This level of commercialization helped set the template for later pop branding, where an artist's image, lifestyle, and products could be as financially powerful as the music itself. At the height of their fame, the Spice Girls took their music on the road with the 1998 Spice World Tour. It became the highest-grossing concert tour by a female group at the time and was attended by an estimated 2.1 million people. The tour proved that the Spice Girls were not just a studio creation or media phenomenon, they could draw huge live audiences around the world. But the pressure was intense. Their schedule was relentless, their fame was overwhelming, and the group's internal balance began to fracture. In the middle of the tour, Geri Halliwell left the Spice Girls. For fans, Ginger Spice's departure felt shocking. The group had built its identity on unity, and suddenly one of its most vivid personalities was gone. After Halliwell's exit, the remaining 4 members continued. They released Goodbye, a song that became a #1 single and was widely interpreted as a farewell to Geri, even though the group continued working. A successful 1999 concert tour followed, showing that the Spice Girls still had major drawing power. In 2000, they released their third album, Forever, which moved toward a more R&B-influenced sound. The album included Holler and Let Love Lead the Way, released as a double A-side that became their 9th UK #1 single. That achievement set a record for the most UK #1s by a girl group. Still, the cultural moment had changed. By the end of 2000, the Spice Girls entered a hiatus so the members could focus on solo careers. The hiatus did not erase their impact. In fact, absence helped turn the Spice Girls into nostalgia icons. They reunited for the return of the Spice Girls tour beginning in 2007, reminding audiences how powerful their catalog remained. In 2012, all 5 members appeared at the London Summer Olympics closing ceremony, performing on top of black cabs in one of the event's most widely discussed pop moments. Later, the group returned again for the Spice World 2019 UK tour, this time without Victoria Beckham. These reunions were not just sentimental events. They were major commercial successes, and their touring achievements helped make the Spice Girls the top touring all-female group from 1998 to 2020. The Spice Girls' legacy is measured in awards, sales, and records, but also in cultural memory. They won 5 Brit Awards, 3 American Music Awards, 4 Billboard Music Awards, 3 MTV Europe Music Awards, and 1 MTV Video Music Award. In 2000, they became the youngest recipients of the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Music. Yet their deeper legacy is how they changed the expectations for pop groups. They proved that a girl group could be commercially dominant, visually distinctive, globally marketable, and centered on a message of empowerment. They helped usher in an era of celebrity obsession, where personality and media visibility became central to fame. Decades later, the Spice Girls remain symbols of 1990s pop because they did more than release hits. They created a language of identity, friendship, and confidence that millions still remember. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.